Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing? I think we're live. How's everybody doing today? If you can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up. I see that there's 7 of you here this morning. I don't know if you guys do the time change thing, but definitely we'd still do it here in Montreal, in Quebec. So today was actually, we're putting the clocks forward, so some people might be a little confused by the time change. I was. I set my watch now, so we're all good. We're all cut up. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody took an opportunity to answer my poll question. If you didn't, you can answer it later on. No big deal. 1 hour early, Alan. Yeah, exactly. We're jumping ahead, right? Finally, we can spring forward. I've been looking forward to spring for so long now. It seems like winter never wanted to end this year. So I'm happy to say that we're getting there now. So today I'm playing this guitar. This is a Jackson that I picked up for, I think it was under 200 bucks, you know. For that price, I couldn't resist. It's a great guitar. You know, you can't buy a body and a neck separately for under 200 bucks, right? So when I saw this, I grabbed it. It has a nice, really nice metallic finish. I don't know if you can see that there. Of course, I changed the pickups on it, but everything else is stock. I think the only other thing I may have changed is the nut on this. And it sounds pretty good. Even the bridge, well, the bridge is not the highest quality bridge, but it's a 2-point pivot bridge, so it's okay. It does the job. This guitar with a pickup change, I think it's worth it. The only thing I'm a little bit not comfortable with is the fact that the E string here takes a really sharp curve over the nut, which causes the strings to sometimes, you know, stick a little bit. But if you change the nut and put something a little bit better there, it helps. So how you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Let me say hi to the guys that are here. I know we had some sunflower guy here this morning that was like posting some weird stuff. I hope that I don't know. I hope it's just a interesting comments. I don't know. I hope it's just a somebody playing around with us. But anyways, if not, the sunflower guy needs to get some help and talk to somebody real quick. All right, let me say hi to the people that are here. Jack, Alexander, yeah, I was hungry when I took that shot. And we have APK 1967 all the way from Ireland, home of U2. I guess everybody says that, right? Does everybody say that? You're probably sick of hearing that. I don't know who the sunflower guy is, Dan. Jack says, Dan Smith, I have no clue who the sunflower guy is. He's just coming in on the wrong channel, I guess. Thought it was dedicated to pills. Probably. Could be. Randy, good morning. BC Rich. Sunday morning salutations. Everybody spent a couple of hours installing a hanging guitar. So you're hanging your guitars now over the weekend, and now almost all my guitars are on the walls and off the racks on the floor. Cool. I don't really mind hanging stuff on the wall. I just always feel a little bit stressed when I see guitars on the wall because, you know, you never know what's going to happen. Hopefully you don't have kids and everything's calm and quiet at your house. But if you have a kids and a dog or whatever, I would recommend keeping the guitars in the case if you can, because the last thing you would want is for a guitar to fall off those racks. Hey Paul, good morning. Lion King, back from work. All right. Christian, how you doing, buddy? How's everything in Germany, my friend? Hope everything's under control there. Dan is here. Jack, BC Rich is giving more comments here. How long before the tube shortage has the playing community going nuts trying to buy every tube under the sun? So, that brings up a good point, BC Rich. I didn't really think about that. But I guess there could be a tube shortage. A lot of the tubes are being built in the same place, and unless you're getting them, I think most of them are Chinese tubes these days, right? But there are some tubes still being built in other places in the world, probably including Russia. So who knows what's going to happen? Does that mean everybody's going to have to start playing transistor amps now? I hope not. That would be a real shame. Jack says, I have the Jackson True Oil Dinky. Nice guitar, Jack. I like the Jacksons, It's definitely an 80s guitar, though, right? With the headstock, you show up with that, everybody expects you to be playing Poison licks or something like that. Who else is here? Presley's here. Gospel of Mark is here. Larry's here. Sorry to hear that, Mark. Mark's working on the weekend. Yeah, that sucks. Sorry, dude. But you can catch it later or on your break. We'll be here. I appreciate you checking in. Alexander says, I got an EVH Iconic combo. Congratulations, Alexander. So there are some people still getting some gear. That's great. It's been quiet for a while. So if you have any new gear, let us hear about it. Now's the time to pipe up. BC Rich says, have them in a small walk-in closet. Good idea. So you can lock everything when you're out of the house, and no dog is going to chew on the guitar. The guitars. More Guitar says, greetings. Looks like the Russian tube situation is getting real with EHX's recent announcement of no more tubes for this year. And actually, most tubes are coming out of Russia. Yeah. So that's, well, hopefully you guys have a little backlog of tubes. I know I do. I don't go through tubes all that often, but yeah, definitely if you blow a tube, that's going to be a problem. So maybe you guys should snag some up while you still can. And hopefully you don't have any issues. I'm lucky because I have a few different guitar amps. So if one blows, no big deal. I'll just use another one. But you could get unlucky, I suppose. Otherwise, buy yourself a multi-effects unit for now and use that. Save the tubes for the live gigs. Hey Dan, nice to see you, buddy. Good morning. Yeah, that's always a good question, Larry. Why can't the US make tubes? I guess maybe they think it's not worth the effort. There's not a, maybe the cost of importing them is way inexpensive. I mean, what are the markups on the tubes these days? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're marking these things up quite a bit. I would imagine. Dan's not worried. He's got multiple swap options. Same here. You have to have built-in redundancy, Dan, right? That's what I seem to have here anyways for now, which is good. Yeah. Alexander said it's a beast. So Alexander, what do you like about that combo specifically? Tell me about it. Tell me a little bit more about it, because I've been curious about it myself. And what were you playing before? Did you buy this combo moving or upgrading from something totally different, or were you in the same ballpark? Lion King says, I bought a vintage Les Paul in my dreams. I have those dreams sometimes. I'm still gassing over a really nice vintage 335. Hopefully one day I'll be able to find one for a price that's not going to be more expensive than my car. Maybe pick one up. Tubes are like toilet paper in 2020. Exactly. True. It's crazy what's going on. I don't want this to turn into a political, Sunday show, but all the stuff that's going on is just nuts. And it's like, just when we thought things were going to get back to normal, especially with all of the situation that we've had with COVID the last 2 years, and I was starting to feel optimistic that we finally were going to go back to normal, and then this happens out of the blue. Who knows? I mean, I just feel bad about all this stuff happening, and the poor people that really didn't instigate anything. They don't really deserve it, but anyways, it's a crazy world we live in. Thank God we have guitars and gear to keep us sane. So let me hear about your acquisitions there. I'd like to know. Rico, stop teasing me, man. Stop teasing me. Rico's always giving me the forecast and the temperature in sunny Arizona. 25 is decent, definitely. Way better than it is here. Rico, the temperature here, I'm just gonna, give you my temperature reading, because you're making me feel bad here. It's a balmy -9 this morning, and it's gonna go. The high for today is gonna be -4. How do you like that? Yeah, it's starting to get, spring. Spring's around the corner. That's how I'm starting to feel. Yeah, we didn't start early, Fat Philosopher. We have this thing called daylight savings time that we do here. So in the spring, we jump forward an hour. And I think that's why a lot of people are missing today, because they're technically, I'm an hour ahead of everybody today. So it caught me by surprise too, Fat Philosopher. Don't worry. Daylight savings. I don't know why we still do that. Fat Philosopher bought an ESP Viper because Tony told me to. Don't blame it on me, Fat Philosopher. If the wife hears you, she's not gonna like me. She's gonna blame it on me. Oh, it's okay. All right, blame it on me. That's fine. No problem. So when's it arriving, Fat Philosopher? When are you getting the ESP? I'm curious to see it. Let me know. Let me know once it arrives. I want to have all the details. Paul says, I've been up for 4 hours and still late. It's okay, Paul. It's okay. It's all good. You're here now. Everything's under control. So for those of you, and I think there's not that many of you that are new, but there may be a couple of new faces here today. So I'm going to, I want to welcome all the newcomers to the show. And basically, to give you an outline of what Addicted to Gear is, it's basically considered a support group. We're all here in it together. We all have serious gear issues, and the show is dedicated to answering questions around gear and just sharing information, opinions, feedback, and we live vicariously through one another by filling us in on what gear you've purchased, what gear I've purchased, and of course the channel does have gear reviews, even though I'm extremely backlogged right now because I've been dealing with family situations. So a lot of the videos they've been slowly trickling out, but I promise to get up to speed once again very soon. I'm working on a few different things now, so you should be seeing some new videos coming out. So it's really nice to see some familiar faces today. And like I said, if you haven't already taken the poll, the poll question today, guys, was something along the lines of, if you start playing guitar and you start learning on an acoustic guitar and sort of get good at playing a guitar on acoustic, will you actually play an electric guitar better? Because a lot of people think that, and I think that too, I think that learning on an acoustic guitar is not as easy. because you don't have anything to hide behind. There's no fancy effects and reverbs and delays and distortion. It's really just raw guitar. And you don't have added sustain that you do with an electric guitar, and it's bending the strings are not easy, and it's hard to get a big sound with acoustic guitar. So you really have to concentrate on your technique. And also I think it forces you to learn how to play melodies, but also chords, because chords sound wonderful on an acoustic guitar. Not that they don't sound good on electric as well, but I believe if you strengthen your fingers on an acoustic guitar, I think your guitar your technique playing guitar overall will become better. So I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but take the poll later on and voice your opinion. I'm curious to see what you guys say about that. So Alexander says that he has a DSL 40 CR, nice little Marshall amp, and he was looking for something different. So now he has both, and he says it kills the DSL in terms of high gain, medium gain, and no gain. The DSL is a very popular amp. There's a lot of people that have those DSL combos. I was considering getting one. There was a period when I was considering getting one, but the amps that I had at the time sort of didn't justify it. But a lot of people like the DSLs. Excuse me, I didn't bring my glass of water down today, so I might be a little bit talking for an hour straight sometimes dries out the windpipe. But a lot of people like those DSLs for sure, and I find they're decent combos if you like the Marshall sound, but they do tend to be a little bit fizzy at times. Depends on how you have them dialed in. So I'm sure your new setup, Alexander, sounds fantastic. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. And Fat Philosopher says, I was going to ship a pedal to the UK, but it came back because planes suddenly stopped flying. Yeah, it depends where you're located and what airspace you have to fly over. So I guess you're going to be affected by all this stuff that's going on. Interesting. I wonder how long that's going to last, and what kind of issues everybody else is going to have to be dealing with because of that now. Interesting. Hey, and the Blues is here. How's it going, Shane? Nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys don't know In the Blues, check him out. He has a really great channel. He's been around forever, and always look forward to his reviews as well. Aton says it's timing. Putin was waiting for the virus. I don't know, man. I don't want to start all these conspiracy theories, but I think that, there's definitely a financial aspect to all of that. And I guess maybe, could be the virus situation had him waiting a little bit before, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to start talking politics. Let's stick to gear. Gear's a lot nicer. A lot more interesting to talk about, I think. Dave says, I'm in gear purge mode. We're going to be moving soon. Got my Godin on eBay at the moment. Well, really? You're selling your stuff? Well, in a way, that's kind of like, isn't that kind of relieving just to be able to get rid of stuff and sort of start from scratch? I've always wondered what that would feel like. I've never had the courage to get rid of all my stuff. But purge mode sometimes is good. You end up evaluating the gear that you have. And it forces you to kind of look at your gear and say, okay, what's my top 3 guitars, top 2 guitars, if I had to get rid of everything? It's always good to do that once in a while. I do that too, but it's mostly when I sort of eliminate the weakest link in the pack, so to speak. The trouble is when you kind of start getting to the zone where you like all your guitars for different reasons, it gets harder. I haven't really swapped gear that much lately because of that, because I think I'm in the zone where there's not really too many guitars that I would say, I'd be able or I'd be happy to get rid of that guitar and not miss it. There's a couple of guitars. I would say there's at least right now, if I off the top of my head, there's probably two guitars that I would, be able or not miss if I had to sell them for something else. But beyond that, it's a little bit challenging. But yeah, it is definitely liberating to be able to clear out your stuff. I'm in that mode, but not for guitars right now. I'm kind of selling off everything else, or anything I don't need. By the way, a fun fact for you all, because I did pick up an Edwards Gold Top with P90s recently, and if you guys have been tuning in regularly, you've probably seen me show that guitar on the channel. And it's a great guitar. I'm going to say it's like in terms of quality and feel, it definitely feels a lot like the Japanese Tokais that I have. It's in the same ballpark. So Edwards makes some really nice guitars. And I ended up picking up a Gold Top. I did have a Harley Benton Gold Top also with P90s. But I think, if I compare the Edwards and the Harley Benton, the Edwards to me is a better guitar overall, just because it's not as heavy, and it just feels a little bit better to me, definitely. So the Harley Benton Gold Top is probably going to end up going. But the fun fact is that, in case you guys don't know this already, and maybe some of you already do, but David Gilmour used P90s on the solo for Comfortably Numb. Did you guys know that? Let me know if you did or not, because you guys are smarter than I am, so you probably already know. But it's interesting because a lot of people associate David Gilmour with his Strat, right? And the solo on Comfortably Numb kind of does sound like a Strat. But it was actually recorded on P90s. And I thought that was interesting. I love P90s, by the way. I think P90s are really great, and I really enjoy playing them. Unfortunately, they don't seem to be as popular. I think it's mostly the look. Because I find that the P90 pickups are not as nice to look at overall. They seem a little bit, not as sexy, I would say. But if anybody hasn't tried P90s yet, definitely try them up. Put them in a guitar, try them. I love them. Alan says, for the acoustic question, some techniques don't translate well to electric, like legato or learning how to mute strings when playing with gain. Yeah, definitely. You can't, it's not as easy to do that. I mean, you can do it, but it's not as fun. You can't get, squeals as easily as you can on acoustic guitars, right? I don't think so. On electric guitars, you have the gain, and you can definitely, get those squeals going. But on an acoustic, you can't do that. So you're limited. You're definitely limited. If you want to learn how to do sweep picking, I think you can definitely do it on acoustic guitar, but it's going to be a little bit more challenging for sure. Same thing if you want to do the Eddie Van Halen two-handed tapping and stuff like that. You don't have the gain to just keep the notes ringing when you're playing like that. Fat Philosopher, you didn't know that? The David Gilmour fun fact? I'm sure you did. In the Blue says, I've been in clear out mode the last few months. 4 guitars down already. I'm looking forward to just keeping what I actually play and enjoy the most. Well, that's the best attitude. Definitely, Shane. I mean, but, isn't it difficult? Don't you ever have seller's remorse? I don't know if that's just me, but every time, I'm okay with putting a guitar for sale, but as soon as there's somebody interested in buying that guitar, I get second thoughts. I doubt myself because I'm like, well, if somebody else wants it, maybe this guitar is good after all. And it has happened to me that I've sold some guitars off that I ended up regretting, in the past. So you definitely want to avoid that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you can limit it to 4 guitars, why not? and it definitely does the pocketbook good, you know, have some extra cash lying around. But then again, when you have the extra cash lying around, what's the first thing that comes into mind? It's what other guitars I could buy, right? Larry says he's interested in humbucker size P90s. If I had a choice, I'd probably like the humbucker size P90s more, because then it doesn't change the look of your guitar. But if your guitar came with P90s, you can't really install humbucker size P90s without rerouting the guitar. And I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to risk ruining the paint job just to reroute them for humbucker size guitars. That I would have to bring it to like a real professional to get that stuff done. I don't want to mess around with that stuff. What else? Some of my friends never sell anything. It's tough for some people. I know. Tell me about it. It's tough for me. Look around. I don't know. You know, I mean, these are my partial guitars. There's a lot more in cases and stuff somewhere else, but yeah, it's getting crazy. Actually, I picked up a really beautiful case. Speaking of crazy, a really beautiful case that I posted on. I posted a photo of this case on Instagram. It's a Maybach case, and I don't know if you guys know that brand, but it's beautiful. It's a really nice covered case. It's like leather, but it's all worked. It's got a really nice Maybach emblem on there, which looks like it's made of brass, nice and thick. It's the most beautiful case I've ever purchased. And I ended up buying that case because I just needed another case for a Les Paul style guitar. So whenever I see some nice cases, I always snag them up because I hate keeping guitars out of the case. As mind you, you wouldn't know it from what I have behind me here, but those are guitars that I don't have cases for yet, and it becomes very expensive. If you want to buy a decent case nowadays, you know, you're looking at a minimum of $100. If you can get lucky enough, you could maybe buy one for $80 used. But I tend to gravitate towards the molded guitar cases because I find that they just last a lot longer. They can take a lot of wear and tear, and most importantly is that they're waterproof. And for, you know, if you're living in Canada and you're gigging in the wintertime and you're carrying your stuff when there's snow and slush on the ground, you definitely want something that's waterproof. The worst cases, in my opinion, in terms of wear and tear, are the tweed cases, because those things get wet and they become moldy. Not good. I mean, they look cool, but they're not good for wear and tear. So I end up getting like gator cases most of the time when I can get a good deal on them. But they don't often pop up, and now they're getting really expensive. So you can, if you're going to buy one of those cases today, even used, they're well above $100. They're usually $150 or something like that. So, you know, it's really, I got to show you this case. I don't really show cases here, but I'm going to show you this case because it's really, really nice. One sec. Let me grab that for you. Just gonna put my headphones back on because can't hear anything without it. So look at this thing. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. Maybe it's not your style, but check this out. Look how great it is. It's beautiful. It's like, and it's got like the, here, let me just put it this way. You can see the emblem there. It might be upside down if, yeah, it's upside down. Sorry. But I mean, this is a beautiful case. Look how beautifully worked it is. It's gorgeous. I've never seen a case like this, so nice. But it's one of my favorite cases now. I'll put this down here. But I mean, you know, you got to keep your eyes open. They don't pop up often enough, those guitar cases, because they usually come with the beautiful guitars in them. And if you can't, you know, if you have that guitar, you don't want to sell the case. So I don't know what happened, but I got lucky. I grabbed it right away. Presley says, selling the custom guitars I work really hard on to make awesome. When I'm done and really enjoying playing them, they sell and get literally snatched up from my hands. So you have to kind of psychologically not get attached when you're building guitars like that. It's happened to me because I've built some guitars also, some really nice part casters, and eventually I end up flipping them. And yeah, it's hard when you actually put in so much time meticulously setting it up and getting all the details just right, and then somebody comes along and wants to buy it. I've kept quite a few of them, so In the Blue says, is it better than the Tokai case? Those are beautiful. I don't know, because the Tokais I have didn't come with the Tokai cases. I bought the guitars without the cases, so I couldn't tell you. But if the cases are, I mean, if they're as nice as the guitars are, I'm sure they're gonna be great. I have this other case here. Actually, I want to show you. I'm going to pull out the. Maybe I'll pull out the Edwards guitar and show you that, because that's a really nice guitar too. Let me take that out of the case. That case that I have the Edwards guitar in is it's the only camouflage case I have. I don't know why I bought that one, but it's a Gator case. It's pretty cool. I'll show you that as well while we're talking cases. Give me a sec. So this case is a Gator case, and I haven't actually ever purchased a Gator case that's camouflaged like this. But I guess if we ever get invaded and I have to hit the high road, I'll grab this guitar so I won't be a target. I don't know why I ended up buying this case, but anyways, let me see here. It's not the most sturdy case, I gotta say. It's a little bit, you know, not as well built as some of the other ones, but it's still a nice case. And I have the Edwards Gold Top. So let me put this down. It's getting tight in here, guys. I mean, you don't see all the wires and stuff that I have around me here, but I gotta navigate around all this stuff without hitting any wires. Otherwise, I risk losing the feed completely. I have so much stuff here. Of course, it's never easy, but we're trying our best on a low budget, so to speak. Shoestring budget. Now, this guitar will most probably be out of tune because I haven't tuned it up lately. Let me just tune it up real quick. I'll show you the guitar. I talked about this guitar before, I think, but perhaps some of you weren't in on the show. So here's the guitar, Edwards, beautiful gold top, P90. You can see the top of the headstock is the same shape as the Gibson's. It just doesn't say Gibson on it, obviously. Really nice inlay, really comfortable neck. Beautifully carved top, really deep, a deep carve. You can see it there if I shine it in the light, how deep it is. Beautiful. And it plays really well. So I really like this one. Let me just see if I can play something quick on this. Just want to make sure I don't blast your eardrums. Sorry you can't really see the guitar while I'm playing. I don't have that much leeway here. But it's a really nice, crunchy. And the strings on this guitar are not new, so I snagged this up for a real bargain, and the guy didn't know how much they were worth. So as soon as he posted it, I grabbed it, and when I went to his house, he was kind of like, he had this weird look on his face, and I'm like, what's up with the guy? You know, maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he doesn't want to tell me he doesn't want to sell it anymore or something like that. And he ended up, you know, he confided in me. He said that after he posted it, I was the first one to answer the ad. And he says, you know, after I answered your ad and said, you know, yeah, I made a deal with him, he got who knows how many other requests to buy the guitar. And he didn't realize at the time that, you know, the price he was offering for the guitar was really like under really what it was worth, right? So he realized after looking up a little bit the costs of these guitars that he was he kind of undersold himself, and he didn't want to go back. He was a man of his word, so I ended up getting the guitar for a steal, and it's brand new. You know, even the nut is bone on this guitar. The inlays look really nice. You do have the 60 cycle hum, but if you have, you know, a noise gate running in the chain, it's not a big deal. When you're playing it with a sort of a not clean, but like edge of breakup clean, it sounds great. I think it sounds great. One of the things I want to share with you guys quickly, actually, because why not? I'm playing this through an MG30. I'll actually show you here. I just wanted to share this because it's a little, maybe a little tip. Whoops, wrong setup. There we go. Can you see? I guess you see the MG30. I'm moving things around here. Let me just pull this in a little bit. There we go. Set it up in a sense where you can see it clearly. All right. So I'm playing the MG30, and one of the things I want to tell you guys, if you're playing with multi-effects units and you don't already have, if you're not already taking advantage of the effects loops, take advantage of the effects loops, because I'm telling you, that's where the beauty of the sound is. If you don't take advantage of that, you're losing quality. This thing here allows you to play, you know, reverbs, and this is, so the reverb that I have here right now is a spring reverb, okay? Doesn't sound that great. There's a little, I don't know how to describe it, but if you listen to the overtones on the reverb, it's a little bit boingy, you know? So what I like to do is I like to not use the onboard effects here. And the advantage with this particular unit is that you can actually dial in or put in the effects loop, ascend, return. And when you do that, you can actually put in your reverb or delay. So going into this unit now with my TC electronic reverb and delay sounds like this. so much better, right? So I find that when you're playing with these multi-effects units, oftentimes the distortion sounds are okay. They're passable, not great, but passable. But the nuances of the reverbs, especially, and the delays, somewhat, they're lacking, right? So just using that effects loop makes a huge difference. And if you make yourself a little rig where you can actually just take the multi-effects unit and just plug in one or two modulation effects to make it really shine, makes a huge improvement overall on the sound. And I find also that if you're not already taking advantage of the IRs whenever you're using a multi-effects unit, you definitely want to be doing that, because stock sounds are okay, but IRs are really great. And if you have a nice collection of good quality IRs, it makes so much difference. So that's the little tip of the day. I'm going to be doing more in-depth reviews on these units. I've been playing around with them a while now, just to get familiar with them, and just I don't like to do a review right away when I get something, because I feel like it doesn't allow me to really understand the pros and cons. Like, there's some things that I've discovered on this unit after doing the firmware update that just came out not too long ago, that little glitches that I'll talk about so people know. But other than that, I find it's a really fun unit, and I'm probably going to take it out with me tonight when we jam, because I want to try it out in a live situation. Because, playing around in the studio is fine and dandy, but if you're playing it in a live situation, that's where you really see whether or not it has the mustard to cut through the mix and, really stand out and sound good. So I'm going to be trying that today. Fat Philosopher says, I have a tuner pedal and a noise gate ahead of my multi-effects unit. Okay. A tuner and a noise gate. You can the multi-effects unit doesn't already have a noise gate built in. You can get whenever I can, I'll try and use whatever's built into the multi-effects unit, so I don't have to have additional wires and stuff and pedals, So, but yeah, I guess you can put a tuner pedal in front of it. Most of the multi-effects units I own have a tuner pedal in it and a noise gate, so I don't usually do that. Good morning, Tony, and all the gassers. How's it going? I love those P90s. Thank you, Randy. Thank you. What else did I want to talk about today? There's other fun facts. There's another giveaway coming up that I'm going to be doing with you guys. So I think you guys enjoy the giveaways. I'm going to be giving away something else soon. I'm not gonna give it away in terms of what I'm giving away right now, but I will be doing a review for a specific. Let me just tell you, it'll be a pedal. Okay, I'm doing a review on a specific pedal, and after that review, I'll be giving that pedal away, just as a thank you, because I know you guys really like the giveaways. So I haven't figured out what the ins and outs are going to be in terms of how I'm going to give it away, what kind of a contest I'm going to run, but stay tuned for that. Ed says, Tony, are you going to do a video of the Nux MG30 over versus the other modelers? Yeah, I was considering doing that. Yes. The thing is, Ed, there's so many features that it's hard to do a side-by-side comparison. I can tell you what I like and what I don't like about each one of them, but I think most of them really do a good job in their own way. So I'm going to definitely be looking at the MG30. I have the this guy, the Ampero Stomp. There's another one that I'm going to be doing a review on as well. It's just a question of deep diving into all these things. There's so many functions and features, and if you really learn how to tweak these units, you can really get a lot out of them. So a lot of people will review these units and just give you a rundown of the stock sounds. I find that's one way of doing it, but it's not the best in my opinion, because you can really, most of the time, you can really get the sounds to sound a whole lot better if you tweak them. And yeah, definitely, John, I'll have to do a review on this guitar as well. There's also the Hummingbird that I want to do a review on as well. and a few other things that are coming up. Actually, one of the other things, I think I can talk about it a little bit now if you wish. I have a couple of guitars that I own that have that don't have a locking nut, and sometimes it plays havoc with the tuning. So one of the things I also wanted to talk about was I picked up this guitar nut buster unit because I wanted to try it out and see whether or not it could solve the issues without necessarily having to route out for a locking nut. And I really like the unit. It's really, I haven't even opened it yet, but you can see it there. Really well made. I was actually surprised at how well made it is. So I'm going to be installing this into a guitar. So I'm going to be doing a review on that and showing you how to install it. You have to change the strings when you're installing the nut buster. But what it is basically is a sort of a free-floating locking nut that doesn't have to be permanently installed on your guitar. And hopefully that will cause any tuning issues to disappear. So I haven't decided which guitar I want to put that on. I was actually thinking it might be cool to try the nut buster along with along with the Vega Trem, because I've installed the Vega Trem in one of my other guitars, in my black Beretta Special, and it's working really well. But I'm wondering if I put this on the other end, if it might even be better than it is now. I don't know. But I don't want to mess it up because this is not designed to work with the Vega Trem. From what I can see, that's just an idea that I came up with. But who knows? I might see what that would do. Eventually, maybe I'll try that. There's a lot of stuff that I have lined up, and it's just a question of getting around to it, guys. By the way, I've installed the no wax pickups that I spoke to you guys about a few weeks back. They're amazing. I have that in. I installed it into one of my PRS SEs, and beautiful sounding pickups. Really, really, really good sounding pickups. So I have to do a review on those as well, just to show you how good those pickups actually sound. Again, sorry guys, I'm behind schedule in so many things, but I'm gonna get around to it. Randy says, I love my full tone tape delay reverb settings on it. For me, tape delays is one of my favorite types of delays. I find I often gravitate towards the tape delays because they sound more natural in terms, like, they don't sound fake, and they're a little bit more organic. I like them. I like them a lot. Let me just go back on some of the questions here. How are we doing on time? We've been live. All right, we're good. We're good on time. So Bruce says, I love my MG30, and in a live situation, most people can't really tell the difference between that and my friend's Axe-Fx. Before everyone jumps on me, yes, there is a big difference in the studio. Well, the Axe-Fx is kind of the benchmark for this kind of thing. It's, obviously one of the most expensive units out there. It definitely has a ton of tweakability, and it's a professional level machine. The Axe-Fx definitely will give you any kind of sound you can possibly dream of, as well as routing. I think that's one of the really great things about the Axe-Fx, is that the routing possibilities are not limited. Like in this unit here, if you want to do some crazy routing, you can't really do it. You can't really do everything. I'll give you an example. Like basically you have all of the blocks around the bottom here. So for example, if you wanted to run 2 amps simultaneously, you can't do that with this particular unit. They have, with the latest firmware, allowed you to run 2 effects pedals. So for example, you have an effects pedal here already. The one I'm using here right now is the, what is it? It's the Blues driver. So it's simulation of the Blues driver. But with the new firmware, you can actually install two patches, two modules there for an effects pedal, which is nice. But, you know, sometimes you want to switch and you want to have two different amps, you know, especially since you have the ability here to switch scenes. All the scenes allows you to switch is the max effects that you have here. You can switch them on and off, but you can't switch the type of effects, which is, to me, a shortcoming. You know what I mean? Things like the Ampero here, the Ampero Stomp, gives you more flexibility for stuff like that. And by the way, recently Headrush just announced the new small version of the Headrush unit, which I like a lot. I had the full-blown Headrush for a while. It's a really nice unit. So they're coming out with a smaller one, and I'm curious to see, you know, the ins and outs on that one as well. There's so many multi-effects units out there right now. The cheaper ones, I would say, you know, under, I don't know, $500 or $600. I call that cheap, but maybe it's not cheap for everyone. But the cheaper units are really cool because they allow you to do a lot with not too much budget. The other thing about this unit here, guys, is that, you know, you also have the built-in effects pedal here that allows you to control volume. It's an expression pedal. You can use it as a wah. You can actually change parameters within certain effects on the fly, things that you can't really do with a regular pedal on a regular pedal board. You know, and you can designate all the different switching options. So you can make this a switch, you can make this a switch, and you can attach a separate foot switch on the back here, and it allows you to, you know, change a whole bunch of parameters. So you're not really limited to 3 switches. You can actually have way more than that depending on how you run the rig. Yeah, the graphic display on this unit is not bad. It's actually pretty decent. The Ampero has a touch screen, which is nice. And often I find myself, you know, trying to click on the screen here now because I'm used to like, you know, touching things on the Ampero screen, and the MG doesn't have a touch screen. So it messes you up a little bit when you're, you know, playing around with different units at the same time. John wants to know, do you know of an upgrade 2-point tremolo for the PRS SE Silver Sky? I don't use it. I block it, but the stock one on this guitar, as far as I'm concerned, is a piece of crap. Oh, really? Okay. The Goto stuff is good. That's the stuff that that is normally used on the Sur guitars. That should be a direct drop-in, I think. They have some really nice ones, so maybe one of those would do the job. I'm surprised to hear that it's not good. How come? I mean, is it just the type of metal, or the bridge saddles are not good? What don't you like about it? I haven't actually had an opportunity to play this Silver Sky SE for any length of time, so I can't really relate to what you're telling me. But if you're telling me it's not decent, then I believe you. So I would say a Goto bridge that you can buy almost anywhere. Just make sure it's not coming from China, because you're probably going to get a knockoff. But try and get the original ones. Those should be great. I have one on my Sur guitar, and it's solid, very solid bridge. Wayne says, good morning, boys. I see we're starting early. Wayne, no, we're not starting early. It's just a thing called daylight savings time that happens in Canada. And unfortunately, we had to spring the clocks forward. And so 9 o'clock became 10 o'clock. That's the reason why we're here earlier today. But it's not actually earlier for me. I've been yapping for almost an hour already. So thanks for joining in. Rico B says, Tony, you missed my post at 25 after the hour. Crazy concert story. I missed it? Oh, Rico, can you copy and paste it over again so I don't have to look for it? Please? Sorry if I'm missing some of your posts, guys. I'm jumping around here. Kevin says, you are totally right. I've seen people doing videos about the MG30 and they have no idea because they haven't tried it. I will be waiting for those videos. Thank you, Kevin. I'll be working on those. I'm trickling them out a little bit at a time. Definitely. I'll show you how I put together my sounds as well. Randy, this is not an Epiphone. This is an Edwards, in my opinion. Probably better than the Epiphones, but I don't want to start a war here. It's an Edwards gold top. Beautiful gold top, in my opinion. Mint condition, too. Look at that back. I love gold tops. Dave says, I had an Ampero and loved it. Then went to a Boss SY1000, and now I'm in an AX8, finally done, I think. The AX8 is a really nice unit. I was looking at those units and came very close to pulling the trigger on one. But with all these little more or less expensive units, more affordable units, I'm kind of in a good place. I think I could get some decent sounds out of most of these units, and I kind of like the idea of trying to squeeze in the best sounds out of these units as I can before just automatically jumping to a more expensive one. But the Axe effects, yeah, is kind of like, you know, the ultimate when it comes to the multi-effects. And it would be a lot easier for me to use that also here in the studio when I'm doing reviews, because it allows you to actually plug in so many things and really get a really nice clean sound out of it. So you can emulate all kinds of stuff. So when you're doing pedal reviews or other things, it's definitely more flexible in that regards. DMAX says, where would you recommend buying the NUX MG30 or Ampero in Canada? That's the difficult thing, DMAC, is like a lot of places are out of stock, you know, or haven't even gotten the inventory yet. There's I don't know. I mean, I honestly, what I do is I just put in NUX MG30 Canada or buy Canada and see what comes up. Sometimes you might have to import it from another province or something like that. They might not have them in your specific province, but that's how I find the units. Other than that, I can't really tell you who has inventory at this point. You just have to look around. Tony, which affordable multi-effects unit has the best Marshall amp models? Again, Ed, if you're using IRs, you can tweak most of these sounds to give you really nice Marshall tones. I think the lacking aspect of a lot of these units are some of the IRs that they use. If you get a good quality IR, there's a lot of third-party places you can actually buy IRs from. Get a collection of some of the basic ones and install it into these units, and you're going to see the amp models that come stock are going to be blown away by the IRs that you can use. I have to still load some IRs into this one. I have a collection of quite a few. You know, everything from greenbacks, vintage 30s, creambacks, all different types of speakers. And it really sounds totally different. So before you dismiss one of these units as saying, you know, the Marshall doesn't sound that good, just try and play with IRs. I don't know if I can pull up very quickly here. 1 second. Let me see if I can pull up a sound that I might have in here. Unfortunately, I don't have the software up because when I'm using the streaming software, I don't want to have too many things loaded up at the same time. So 1 second here. Let me just see if I could find something very quickly that's kind of Marshall-ish. Let's see here. How about this one? That's the other thing when you have too many sounds, like, just keeping track of all of them. When you're trying to play live, you really have to have a really good understanding of where everything is. Otherwise, you're definitely going to be doing tap dancing all over the place. So this is a plexi lead sound. I think it sounds pretty convincing. And again, I'm playing with the stock delay here on this particular patch. I haven't, let me just take the reverb and delay out, and I'm going to plug in the, I'm just going to do like I did earlier and go with the send return and listen to this. Now the reverb is a little high. Now, perhaps we don't need a reverb or too much delay on a sound like this, but I find it sounds better. Now, one of the things I would also do here is probably punch up the gate a little bit, because with the P90s, definitely we want to have a little bit more noise gate because it's just noisy here. So let me just bring up the gate a little bit. Sensitivity, not too much, just enough to... So, I don't know, I think that does a respectable Marshall sound. What do you think? So Rico's story. Let's get back to Rico's story here really quickly. Tony, I was at the Texas Live this week watching AC/DC cover band, Back in Black. Drummer had a heart attack mid-set. Curtain started coming down when someone was doing CPR on him. What? Holy mackerel, man. What a way to go. Did you find out whether or not the guy survived or not? What a way to go. Amazing, man. Well, you know what? I have to say, at least he went doing what he loved if he didn't survive, but I hope that he did. Holy mackerel. Wow. Presley says definitely a pass. Cool. Anyone know what Gibson he has to his right? Okay, to my right. You're talking about that guy? That Gibson? That's a Chipson actually. it's not an actual real Gibson. That's a Chipson that I bought for peanuts and I modified. The Gibsons, I don't have any on my rack. Do I? No, I don't have any of the real Gibsons on my rack right now. I have them in the cases. Yeah, but that's a Chipson. All right, guys, I think we're going to have to wrap it up because it's 11 o'clock, 11:05. I see there's still new people trickling in. I'm sorry if you guys missed the show today because of daylight savings times, but we're going to be doing more very soon. And actually, I'm going to have a special guest on one of my shows as well coming up. We're just ironing out the details and time schedule for that. BC Rich says, have 2 Korean-made EPIs, and both of them are just so much better than any of the Chinese-made ones I've ever played. Yeah, definitely a different ballpark. Dan says, beautiful gold top P90s. Hard to find a decent one that is exceptional without paying a lot or taking a gamble. Thought about getting the Harley Benton, but concerns over craftsmanship. The Harley Benton stuff, Dan, is hit and miss. I've gotten lucky. The one I have is almost perfect, and you know, the stuff that isn't really 100% bang on is not going to affect playability. But check out the Edwards. I would say check out the Tokais if you can get them. Definitely up there in terms of quality and playability without the price tag yet. They're getting more and more expensive though, because people, the cat's out of the bag. People know that they're really good. But if you can find one for a decent price, I wouldn't go with the Korean ones. I'd go with the Japanese ones if you can find them. But those would be the best buy. BC Rich says, perhaps in regards to the Tokai, I've not played them in forever, but the ESPs that I've played are very close between the Korean and Japanese Les Paul style models. Okay. I haven't played too many ESPs myself, so I can't really judge too much. Oh, the 335. You're talking about the one over here? Where is it? Over there. That guy? This guy over here, Dan? That's a Tokai, Harley Benton. It's not a 335. My 335 is in the case. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to have to let you go. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another hour-long session of Addicted to Gear. If you guys want to support the channel, you can do that just by doing this. Very easy. Just give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And obviously, next Sunday we'll be here with more information, more gear reviews. There'll be more videos being posted during the week, so please stay tuned for those and give me a thumbs up whenever you see any of the gear reviews coming up. That helps the channel. If you want to contact me after the live show is over, you just need to send me a little message and I'll answer your questions. You can also leave a comment below. I always answer the comments as well. And if you haven't taken the poll question, please take the poll question, because I like to get your answer on that as well. That's it for today, guys. See you soon. And please stay safe, keep rocking, be good humans, and take care of each other. Talk to you soon.